I'm making risotto for my girlfriend. Our bell pepper risotto starts with a bell pepper. Hold a bell pepper over an open flame and let it blacken on all sides. I started doing this by hand, and after a few seconds, I realized this was getting kind of hot. So I just used tongs. Preferably use grill tongs. If you don't have access to a flame, use the broiler in your oven. Once it's charred, put the bell pepper in a Ziploc to steam for 15 minutes. While it's steaming, we'll go ahead and prep our vegetables. We're going to start with half an onion, which we'll slice lengthwise. Then we'll slice a few cloves of garlic. After 15 minutes, go ahead and peel the skins from your bell peppers if you need to, and then just dice the pepper. We'll start our sauce by cooking some onions in a saucepan. Once they're translucent, we'll add our bell peppers and cook those all the way through. Lastly, we'll add our garlic. Remember to season with a pinch of salt after the addition of each ingredient. Once our veggies are all cooked through, we're going to remove some of the onions and peppers for a garnish. Next, we'll add red pepper flakes. If you've got Calabrian chilies, fresh chilies, or a chili powder that you prefer, then use that. Once we've added the heat, we're going to cool it down with some vodka. If you're cooking over fire, make sure to turn the fire off whenever you're adding alcohol to a pan or pot. Once you've added your vodka, go ahead and turn the heat back up and reduce it. Once it's reduced, we'll add heavy cream and bring that to a boil. Then we'll blend until smooth and taste for salt and salt to taste. Once it's salted to your preference, just put it aside. Now we're going to heat our chicken broth. Today I'm using this HEB chicken broth because we're cleaning out my pantry. While that's heating up, we'll dice some shallots. Just try to get them as fine as you can. Next, we'll thaw our peas. In a pot with some oil, we'll cook our shallots. Take care not to burn them. Next, we'll add our peas. Some of them were still frozen, so I had to give them a second rinse. Lastly, we'll toast our rice. I think the more you toast your rice, the better your risotto tastes, but just toast until you feel like you've developed the flavor you want. With our rice toasted, we'll ladle in our broth. Now, some risotto purists will say you have to cook this one ladle of broth at a time. I'm going to be honest. It does not matter if you add stock in ladle by ladle or all at once. If you disagree, go cry to your mom or something. J. Kenji Lopez and Kendall of the Babish Culinary Universe have already proved this in experiments which I'll link below. What's more important is that you agitate the rice to release starch, either by constantly stirring or cooking your rice with a hard boil. This is going to help you get that creamy risotto consistency. And Senpai Kai even has a method to skip that, so stirring isn't even mandatory either. I think spooning in broth is good practice if you want your rice to absorb the perfect amount of water and not a milliliter more. But a 1.5 cup of rice to 4 cup of broth ratio has worked pretty well for me. I've seen people online say that 2 to 3 minutes of vigorous stirring is enough to release the right amount of starch. You can do your own testing and come up with your own techniques, but don't let yourself be overly encumbered by rules. I do recommend cooking risotto over lower heat if you're adding all the stock at once, so the rice actually has time to absorb the water before it gets cooked off. If you've got any risotto tips or observations, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'm always down to learn new things. With our risotto almost ready, we're going to cook our shrimp. Get some oil shimmering in a pan and add your shrimp. Flip after 45 seconds and then cook for another 45 seconds. Turn the heat down and finish with butter and lemon if you have it. Put that to the side and we'll finish our risotto. Now we're going to pour in our bell pepper sauce. We're adding a lot of moisture back into the risotto, so we're going to reduce it until it's at the consistency we want. We're then going to tighten the sauce by adding a knob of butter and grating in some Parmesan. And as always, the Parmesan is not mandatory. If you've got Pecorino Romano or Grana Padano, those are great options too. They're not the same, but they are similar enough, so use whatever you have or whatever you prefer. Finish with some pepper and taste for salt, and then salt if you need it. And now we're gonna plate. If you liked the video and want to support me, please like, subscribe, and share. Big thanks to Lauren for helping me with filming, and until next time, bye.